Thanks so much for staying with us for another edition of Mercer County Close-Up here on WZBN News. Lawrenceville Elementary School is just one local school that started the new year on a great note. Of course, 1 week out of January, it was No Name Calling Week, and of course that's part of a much bigger initiative which targets bullying and of course punishes those appropriately that do it, but also encourages those who are victims of bullying to speak out, because as we've learned, especially in recent years, those that are bullied are not considered tattletales nor wimps nor any of those things, just for speaking out about it, because people want to find out if it's going on. And joining us to talk about all of the other great exciting things pertaining to this at Lawrenceville Elementary is their school counselor, Kathy Jensen. Kathy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about, No Name Calling Week. I mean, from the name of it, people can figure out what it's all about, but what's really the underlying focus of it all?
Well, No Name Calling Week came about 8 years ago, based on the book The Misfits by James Howe. And it was really designed for students who were in middle school. But we brought it down to Lawrenceville Elementary School with our pre-K to 3rd grade population. And what we do is we have dress-up day themes, we have books and stories that the teachers actually read over our little broadcast system, our television cameras in our little elementary school. So it was a very exciting week, and the children really got into it.
It was January 24th to the 28th, but of course that's part of, as I said in the intro, it's a much bigger initiative targeting bullying. That lasts much longer than just the week, really.
Correct. Character education in our school is year-wide. We started in September, and we don't finish it in June. We even have summer projects that go on. So really, No Name Calling Week is just part of our character education initiative.
These messages really are driven home by, a series of books. I mean, is that really how you reached out to the young people to promote the messages? Because I see a lot of these books, Oliver Button is a sissy. I'm sure, you can gauge what that's about. But that's really how the message was spoken, really.
Exactly. That's how we try to teach themes like empathy to our young children, because they need to see it in real life. So a lot of the characters are children. Some of them are animals, like the Fluffy the porcupine, which you can kind of figure out what that's about.
Absolutely.
And during that day, we talk about respecting your body and the physical differences of others during a porcupine named Fluffy. So we really get into everything with character development. And we do focus on the children not being considered tattletales, as you said before. We try to focus on them being upstanders. So we say that a student is an upstander who is first a bystander and observes bullying going on, but then stands up for the victim or stands up for themselves.
Right, okay. A lot of these books, like Tommy DePaula is the one who wrote the Oliver Button is a Sissy, which I mentioned. Now, of course, if you put an example like this into a story for children to learn and understand, that, of course, makes it a lot more, it illustrates it much better, I'm sure.
Right.
And of course, A Porcupine Named Fluffy is another great book. There were a whole host of them read during this January 24th to 28th time frame, but of course, as Ms. Jensen says, the message is year-wide. Now, from what you saw, because you've been doing it for 8 years, I'm sure you've seen results. Do you really get the sense that it is working?
I think children start to feel empowered when they understand that they can do something about it, that they can tell a trusted adult, that they can stand up for themselves, they can stand up for friends, they can work as a group. So I think children do feel that empowerment, that they are no longer the victim, that they are empowered and can go forward.
Can it have a backlashing effect? Psychologists have studied bullying on their own. But if someone does report that they've been bullied, as we know, they're even more likely to become a bully themselves if it's not, addressed the right way. But those that do bully them, are they perhaps likely to attack them again, re-bully them if they're, told on it and whatnot?
Well, I think it all depends on the kind of stance that the school takes. And I think the stance that we try to take is getting the parents involved of both victim and bully.
Right. And that obviously looks like it's working too.
It definitely works.
Great. And these efforts are taken further. Do you have other programs at LES that you look at, and kind of tell me about some of the other school year-wide initiatives that you do?
We have a lot of programs. We have the Manners Magnet program, which is teaching good manners, and we talk about that during our morning announcements every day. We also have Lester Shining Stars, where we try to catch the kids being good. We have awesome assemblies where we sit down and we celebrate. Actually, we're not sitting down very much. We're mostly up and cheering and excited about the accomplishments of ourselves individually and as the group as a whole.
Right.
So we do lots of different character initiatives throughout our school.
You talk about character initiatives. Of course, there's also cartoon characters. Now, a lot of students already here in 2011 have come to school, mainly during No Name Calling Week, but with different cartoon characters on their shirts and whatnot. How does that all tie in, really?
Well, we were just trying to have a cute way to relay character to cartoon characters. Not all the cartoon characters are positive role models, certainly, but at least they understand, and we can talk about the ones that are positive role models and ones that are not.
Yeah, and as someone who helped spearhead this, because you've been with Lawrenceville Elementary School almost a decade, and of course you spent a lot of years at the high school before that, do you find that this will keep going, and do you think that with each passing school year you'll keep making changes and keep bettering this, really?
Definitely. This year was the first year we added the news broadcasts with the storytelling. So each year it goes a little bit further. We started the awesome assemblies a couple years ago, so we really, do look towards noting things that are positive going on.
And you make it fun, it seems, for the kids to learn about it, and that helps them because, do they find that it is fun to at least talk about this and understand the message?
They start to get the idea that it's ingrained within them.
Right.
For instance, we went to the soup kitchen with a group of third graders last week. I took 2 bus loads there, and we donated things from our Super Bowl food drive. And our bus driver was very strategically trying to back the bus into the soup kitchen's parking lot. And when he finished, which was a monumental task, a huge school bus, the kids broke out in cheers with our awesome cheer. So it's kind of nice that it's ingrained within them. They know how to recognize good behavior as well, or outstanding accomplishments. And parking in that soup kitchen parking lot was a great accomplishment.
Yeah. And of course, at those ages, elementary school through even middle school, those are the impressionable years. So to reach out to them at those ages, that's the main thing.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Well, we wish you and all of your colleagues there at
Thank you.
Lawrenceville Elementary all the very best with this initiative. And of course, the 2010-2011 school year still has a ways to go. So all schools out there, if you haven't yet jumped on board with things like this, we hope that you will. And of course, like we say, all the best to you. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Kathy Jensen is the school counselor at Lawrenceville Elementary School, going on her 9th year there, and spent 15 years at Lawrence High School, where she worked with kids on a lot of these things, and we're so happy for their efforts on this. I'm Mark Fontes. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Mercer County Close-Up. That will wrap things up for it and for this WZBN newscast. We'll see you again real soon.